Hey guys, it's Kyra and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I will be showing you guys my entire makeup palette collection. Okay, so you guys loved whenever I did my foundation collection, and so I also got a request to do my palettes. I think I got a request to do palettes and lipsticks, which I will be doing later on. But for now, I figured let's go ahead and do palettes. And you guys, I have so many palettes, and I honestly, I'm gonna be real, I don't even touch half of them. Most of these palettes I've collected since I even first got into makeup, and that was, what, 4 years ago that I really started to really play in it. So these have been collected over time, and I won't spend too much time talking about them because if I do, it'll be like an hour-long video. Kind of just show you guys the palette, tell you guys, where it's from, talk about it real briefly, and then explain, my thoughts on it and if I, recommend it or if it's a pass. So I'm gonna start off with my cheaper palettes and then move on to my higher end ones. I do have actually a pretty nice mix of cheaper and higher end, so I think you guys will appreciate that. So let's just go ahead and jump right on to it. Okay, so first up is going to be Beach Cosmetics. I have a couple palettes from them, and these are honestly older purchases. Like, I probably had these honestly, like I said, 4 years ago. So first up is going to be the Beach Cosmetics baked eyeshadow palettes, and I have 3 of them. I have the Wild Child palette, which looks like this, and it consists of 9 shadows. They're all baked shadows, and they're all shimmer shades, so these will definitely create lid colors, and they also have a really nice variety. So the Wild Child palette is definitely more neutral. I actually really liked their palette. So it's this one here. It's also the Wild and Free one, which is more on the green side. You guys have seen me use this before in multiple tutorials. So I love this one. I love the shade selection in this one because it's very, very unique. Like I said, some greens, some blues, some purples. And the last one is the Wild at Heart palette. And this one's more on the pink and purple side. So definitely a very unique shade range, but I did love these palettes because of the pigmentation. Now, they are baked, so whenever I apply them, I definitely do have to spray my brush first with Fix Plus. That's honestly the only way that you'll actually get the color payoff. But once you do, you guys, the color payoff is absolutely beautiful. So I'm not sure if they still sell these, but if they do, I definitely recommend them. And my favorite of the 3 is definitely the Wild and Free palette, again, because I just love this color range. Just because these are not colors that are typically in, standard eyeshadow palettes. So I love this one, but again, all 3 I recommend. Next is going to be Coastal Scents, and I actually have 3 palettes actually, and they're actually the same variation of the palette, but they're just like different volumes, if that makes sense. So you guys will see in a second. Okay, so first I have the Revealed palette. Now, this was one that I have bought, again, probably about 4 years ago when I first got into makeup, and I purchased this one because I heard that it was a really good dupe for the Urban Decay Naked palette, okay? And whenever I purchased it, I fell in love with it, and I still love this palette, you guys. I don't use it too often, but whenever I'm looking for a good, affordable, nice variety of shades, this is a perfect palette. So as you can see, it's very neutral. You guys know I'm a neutral girl, but I love the nice mix of shimmer and matte shades. I also love their matte selection. So most of the palette honestly is shimmer shades, but they have a couple mattes in there to kind of help you create, a soft look. And basically, like, they have their standard matte shades and then a crap ton of shimmers. So you can create multiple looks with just this one palette, which I actually, and the other 2 as well, same thing. That's why I love it. I definitely recommend spraying your brush with Fix Plus first before applying the shade to kind of help it last longer, but again, a great palette nonetheless. Okay, and then the next one is going to be the Revealed 2 palette. So this was the first one that came out, was the Revealed palette, which was just, very standard neutrals. And then next it came out with the Revealed 2 palette. And this has been around for a while as well. And this one, as you can see, it's kind of the same concept, but this one is definitely more so for berry and rose tones, which I love. I love this palette for these exact tone, you guys. And it's the same concept, it's mainly shimmer, metallic shades, but they do have a couple, mattes in there to help you create multiple looks, you know, with this one palette. This is also a really good affordable and compact palette to create multiple looks. The last one is the Revealed Matte palette. Okay, so as you can see, a common theme with Coastal Scents is I love their Revealed palettes. I just love them. The Revealed Matte palette is just that, it's all matte. So this one does not have any shimmer or metallic shades in them, but as you can see, it is a nice variety of shades. I love this shade down here. I think I told you guys that before when I use this palette. I love this orange shade right here, but also a nice variation of mauve tones, taupe tones. You have a really pretty deep berry over here, some purples. Again, a very well-rounded palette to kind of help you create multiple looks within just this one. So honestly, you guys, all three of these I highly recommend, especially if you are on a budget, if you're new to makeup, if you want to just get some practice palettes to play with before you kind of splurge on Sephora palettes or Ulta, you know, higher end palettes. These are definitely really good go-tos, and they are inexpensive. I believe they retail for around 20 bucks. So not much at all, and you get a ton of shadows per palette. You guys know that I love ColourPop lipsticks, I love ColourPop eyeshadows. I just love their brand in general because they're so affordable and they have great quality products. So I do have 2 palettes from them, and let me mention that I'm only showing palettes that are pre-made. I'm not showing my Z palettes that I put together and made myself with individual eyeshadows. I'm just showing palettes that are already made and that I purchased as is. So first up is going to be the I Think I Love You palette. You guys have seen me use this plenty of times before in tutorials, and I love this one. Again, I am a neutral girl, and I love the shade range, especially these bronze tones over here, okay? Those bronze tones, you guys, honestly seal the deal. You got 12 shadows, great quality shadows might I add, and a really nice color range. So if you are a neutral girl, you have to have this one in your collection. I'm telling you, like, you have to have it. And then I also have the ColourPop Cute AF palette, and this one is also a really pretty one as well. I guess it could be considered in the neutral family, but as you can see, it has more oranges and reddish tones. I really like this one for creating really nice berry and peachy looks. I love the shade up here. I love the reddish tones. This is definitely very brown girl friendly. I know a lot of complaints that I get from, you know, women of color is that they're afraid to play with color because they don't think that it'll work on their skin tone, but trust me, you guys, this one will work. Both of these, you guys, are great. Okay, so next up I want to do Morphe because Morphe is also an affordable brand as well, and I have what, 4 palettes from them. Okay, so first up is going to be the 35O palette, and you will notice that most of the palettes that I have from Morphe are neutral palettes. This is a perfect everyday go-to palette. Ton of brown shades, a ton of reddish shades, a ton of orange shades, some champagne shades, some bronze shades, some shimmer shades, some, you know, a nice mix of mattes and shimmers and metallics. I love this palette, especially for everyday looks. That's like the most important thing, is the everyday looks, because honestly, like, not everyone wants to play in color and bright, bold looks. And if you have to, you know, have one palette to create multiple looks, that's, as you can see, actually, let me just throw that out there. As you can see, most of the palettes that I'm showing you guys are palettes that I believe you can create multiple looks out of, multiple wearable looks out of, with just, you know, that one palette. And I also have 35R, which is very similar. It's also, again, very neutral. This one, to me, has a lot more matte shades, so it's kind of divided here. So everything over here is all matte, and these 3 columns over here are all shimmers. But the difference is, as you can see, 35O is definitely more orange and reddish tones. 35R is definitely more browns and bronzes, as you can see. I love their variation of shimmers. They're very slight differences, but those differences make a huge difference. You know, it's a very nice mixture of shades. You'll be surprised what you can do with just this one palette. So I think that the 35O and the 35R are must-haves. If I had to pick one, I'd say 35R over 35O, but I still love them both. I also have the 35N1, and this one I don't play in too much only because of the tone selection. Like, I think it's a decent, you know, neutral palette, but I feel like you can kind of get the same, you know, the same idea from the other two palettes that I showed you guys, the 35R and 35O. I don't think it's a must-have, so I definitely wouldn't recommend you guys go get it. And I honestly barely touch this one. Let's be real, I barely touch it. But it is a good, nice mix of browns and purples and some, you know, tans, some taupes, and even these little peach shades down here, which I love. These two. So that is a 35N. And then last but not least from Morphe, you guys know is my absolute favorite palette from them, which is the Jaclyn Hill palette. I held out on getting this one for a while, you guys know that. But once I did, y'all, I fell in love. And I fell in love because of just the color selection. Now this one I definitely not think is like an everyday palette, but if you are a makeup hoarder like I am, this is a must-have in your collection. So I do recommend it because of just the tones. This is a palette that whenever I look at it, I get inspired, and that's why I love it, because it has such a unique selection of shades. So like I can like sit down, do my makeup, have no idea what I'm gonna do for the day, look at this palette and instantly be inspired. And that's why I love this one so much. Okay, so now on to my higher end brands. These aren't really crazy expensive, but you know, they're definitely not, you know, your ColourPop or your BH Cosmetics, you know, level. I'm gonna start off with Juvia's Place. So the first one is the Saharan palette, which is a beautiful 12 shade palette. This one here wasn't that expensive. I don't think it was more than like 30 bucks maybe. I don't remember how much it was exactly. I got it from Haute Look on sale, so that's why I got it. But as you can see, the color selection is very, very gorgeous. I love the color payoff on these. These palettes here, these shimmer shades, these are colors that you don't have to spray your brush first to get the color payoff. And that is why I love these palettes and this brand, because of just the quality of it. Saharan is very, very gorgeous. I mean, a nice, unique mix of shades. You have, you know, some olive tones, you know, a reddish shimmer there, some orange, some bronze shades. So not like again, this is not an everyday palette. I don't say it's a must-have, again, because you can't really use it on a day-to-day basis, but I definitely recommend it because of the quality. It's just a phenomenal palette. That's all I can say. It's a phenomenal palette. And I also have the Nubian 2 palette. And this one, y'all, as you can see, is absolutely gorgeous as well. This one has 12 pans as well, but obviously the pans are much bigger. And just a really good palette. I really love the shimmer shades and this Morocco shade on there. It is so beautiful. Again, why I say this is a must-have? No, only because I think that you kind of get limited with this palette. I mean, it's only 12 shadows. You kind of have a couple random bright colors. So if you're a makeup junkie like I am, it's a great palette. Go ahead and get it. If you're not, I wouldn't say it's a must-have. But again, these are really good quality palettes that are worth the money. So it kind of depends on who you are. You know, if you love makeup, get it. If you're not a super huge makeup fanatic, don't, you know, you won't really use it. So next up is going to be the only Anastasia palette that I use. I do actually want to get the Soft Glam palette, but I haven't gotten that one yet. But this is like the only one that I have, and I've had this one, y'all, for like 3-4 years now. It's an oldie, but still a goodie. It's the Anastasia Beverly Hills Shadow Couture palette. This was the very first one. Actually, this may have been the very first higher end brand palette that I actually purchased, honestly. This is a palette I think is kind of similar to the Juvia's Place one, where it has a very, very nice mix of, you know, mattes and shimmers. There is, you know, a brow bone shade in there for you. There's a crease color in there for you. There's a dark brown to smoke out the outer corner, you know, a couple different shimmer shades in there to create, you know, multiple looks. I do think that you can get limited with just this palette. So do I think it's an everyday palette? No, I don't, unless you use the same, you know, 2 or 3 shadows every day. But I loved this palette nonetheless, and I still reach for it every now and then. The shadows are just classic shadows that you can use over and over and over again, and I truly love it. So that is the Shadow Couture palette. Next up, I'll do Sleek. This is one that I received from them not too long ago. If you guys saw my video and I, you know, tested out all their new products. This is the Sleek When the Sun Goes Down palette. A really pretty 12 shadow palette. You have, again, a nice mix of shimmer and matte shades. But I love the quality of these, not get me wrong. But I wouldn't, this is not one that I would reach for if I was like out shopping, only because I'm not wowed by it, if that makes sense. Great quality, a good selection, but not eye-catching, if that makes sense. So it's like with this palette, I'd see and think, oh, those are pretty, but I wouldn't be drawn to purchase it on my own only because I'm not wowed by the tones. Good quality shadow, just not the best shade selection. So up next is going to be the two newbies that I recently received from the companies. The first is going to be the New Dude Volume 2 palette. You guys know that I just got this, literally like just got this last week. And I told you guys about how much I love this shade selection. Now, this one's a bit different only because of the unique selection of shimmers. Now, this is definitely, again, not an everyday palette. I wouldn't recommend it for everyday. If you're not a huge makeup enthusiast, you won't love it. But if you are a makeup enthusiast like I am, this is definitely a really good one. I love these plum tones. I love these bronze tones. I think it's just a really good palette. And you guys saw in my chit chat, get ready with me, how pigmented these are and how easy these work and how easy they blend out. And that makes this palette so worth it. Now, this is a small palette. You know, it's a very, very small compact palette, only 6 shadows, but this bad boy, y'all, packs a lot of heat. I used this palette on my eyes today. I actually did a video that has 2 looks in one using just this one palette. I cannot wait for you guys to see it because you guys will be wowed by how amazing these shadows are. This one, I definitely say I recommend 100% because although it is compact, which is good because it is travel friendly, it is very workable. You know, it's perfect for every day. It's also perfect for the night. You know, it's just a really good all-around palette. Not crazy expensive at all, and just a good, like, I don't know what to say about it. I just love the tones. Okay, and then last but not least, I'm going to be showing you guys my most expensive palette that I own, which is an oldie but still a goodie, and that is the Huda Beauty Rose Gold palette. Now, I've had this palette for over a year, maybe like almost a year and a half now, maybe. And it's expensive. I believe it was like 65 bucks, so it is pricey, but I love this palette. Love. Okay, you get 18 eyeshadows. Okay, you get a nice mix of matte. So the whole bottom row is matte. These 4 here are matte. This is like a light shimmer. It also has foiled shadows in here as well. This is also a shimmer, and these are all foiled shadows. So it's a nice variety of finishes. If you want something really, really bold, you know, you have a nice mix of foiled colors to go to. If you want an all matte look, you can easily create multiple all matte looks with just this one palette. You know, you have nice inner quarter colors in there, nice brow bone colors in there. Just, y'all, I just love this one. I think it's expensive, but I definitely recommend this one 100%. Just because of the millions and millions of looks you can create with just this one palette. I still get inspired by this palette and will still use it to create new looks all the time. And honestly, guys, this quality is amazing. The shadows blend out so easily. They're just perfect. Everything that I showed you guys, I would recommend, again, with stipulations, or some with stipulations, some, you know, as is, but I think I have a good, nice mix of high and low. So let me know what you guys think of my collection. If you guys have any recommendations on anything that I should add to my collection, let me know. And also, if you tried any of these palettes out, let me know what you thought. Did you like them? Did you not like them? You know, let me know what you think. I cannot wait to read your comments. If you guys liked the video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and also give my video a thumbs up. And I'll catch you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.